Good morning. I was talking last time about the end of the world, and it might seem to be delaying, but there are problems before it does come. Jesus said in Luke 21 and verse 12, "Before all this happens, men will seize you and persecute you. They will hand you over to the synagogues and to imprisonment." So for the Christians, the days before the end of the world were going to be extremely difficult. It's not only persecution, and the biggest problem with that is that we didn't expect it to come from Watchtower. But we have other things to deal with. Paul said in 2 Timothy 3 that people would be selfish and greedy. We know that crime would increase. We would be affected by these things. And also, we might lose our homes to flood, tornadoes. We might even lose our employment. We have one problem after another. So how do we survive? In Luke chapter 17, Jesus was talking about when the kingdom was going to come. And he said it would be like the days of Noah, when everybody around us would be living what we would consider to be a normal life. They would be going to work, getting married, building houses, as if the end of the world weren't coming. And it would be very easy to be swept along with these same sort of ideas. So Jesus said this, following on from that in chapter 18. So he told them a parable about the need to pray continually and not lose heart. So the story goes that in a certain town there was an unrighteous judge, and a widow came to him. And a widow in those days would be in a very difficult position, very poor. And she needed justice because possibly someone has taken advantage of her. And the unrighteous judge can't be bothered to give her justice. But she goes back to him again and again. "Give me justice," she says. So in the end he says, "Look, she's going to keep pestering me to death, so I'll give her justice." And then Jesus says, "You notice what the unjust judge has to say. Now will not God see justice done to his chosen, who cry out to him day and night?" So do we infer from this that God is like the unrighteous judge? No. Jesus is here demonstrating a contrast. God is nothing like the unrighteous judge. So why do we have to keep praying continually? Because the problems keep coming. The problems are continuous. We ask God for help with one situation and we get help. And then something else crops up. We might get ill, or we might lose a tooth, or something silly like that. We need continual help. So God said here, Jesus said, I beg your pardon, "I promise you he will see justice done to them." Now, in this little book here, The Parables by Gary Inrig, and sometimes these little books can help us wonderfully just to think carefully about what Jesus said. And he said this, "The Lord's formula is clear and simple. We should always pray and not give up. The antidote to despair is not determination, it's not positive thinking, it's not strength on our part. The way to survive is dependence on God and prayer." Now that may take some practice. We need to practice being dependent on God. But we can do that now, and we're going to need it when the end of the world does come. Now, it says here that God will see justice done to us speedily. Now, we have to look at that from the perspective of time being the time of eternity. Justice at the moment, complete justice, might not be the best thing for us. If we wait a little bit, we might see good, proper justice. And that's why we sometimes have to wait for it. But if we do wait, we will get justice. Remember what it said in Habakkuk chapter 2. And verse 3, if it comes slowly, wait, for come it will, without fail. We can be absolutely certain we will get justice, but we need endurance, and the only way to endure is to pray continually. Obviously, we can't be praying all day. We have to do other things, but we do need to make some time for prayer. And we need to pray about every action that we take and every little problem, no matter how small it might seem, and we might think, well, I'm not going to bother God with this. Do ask him for help with everything, big and small, and we will get the help, and we will endure, and we will see the end of the world and justice. Thank you so much for watching this morning.